من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قال موسى لفتاه لا أبرح حتى أبلغ مجمع البحرين أو أمضي حقبا فلما بلغا مجمع بينهما نسيا حوتهما فاتخذ سبيله في البحر سربا فلما جاوزا قال لفتاه آتنا غداءنا لقد لقينا من سفرنا هذا نصبا قال أرأيت إذ أوينا إلى الصخرة فإني نسيت الحوت وما أنسانيه إلا الشيطان ونذكره واتخذ سبيله في البحر عجبا قال ذلك ما كنا نبغ فارتدا على آثارهما قصصا فوجدا عبدا من عبادنا آتيناه رحمة من عندنا وعلمناه من لدنا علما قال له موسى هل أتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا قال إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا وكيف تصبر على ما لم تحط به خبرا قال ستجدني إن شاء الله صابرا ولا أعصي لك أمرا قال فإن اتبعتني فلا تسألني عن شيء حتى أحدث لك منه ذكرا فانطلق صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Kahf, this part of the surah talks about the story of Hazrat Musa ala Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam and his meeting with Hazrat Khizar alayhi salam, who was, according to the Jamhur of Mufassirin, the most ulama, he was also a Nabi. So this is a very unique thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran. And before we start this, there is some understanding, some background knowledge that we should get. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed the burden on humanity of Sharia. Sharia is a responsibility, which means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us through the prophets that this is what will please me and this is what will make me displeased with you. So do this, you will get Jannah. Do this, you will get my punishment and hellfire. This is called the Shariat. All the knowledge of this is the practical, usable, beneficial, necessary knowledge. That is what we are supposed to do and that is what we are supposed to go after. And this is the beneficial knowledge that the prophets are given. And they teach people this knowledge and show them the example of this knowledge. How to do this. This is called the ulum or the knowledge of Shariat. Ulum Shari'ah. Knowledge of the Shariat. How to please Allah and how to stay away from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Simple. But then the system of this world also works, and there's many things that are happening which are running in background or they're happening without our control, and we do not basically have any concern, any control over those. For example, the coming of natural disasters, life and death. These things, they are there, they happen, but we don't have any control over those. And because we don't have any control over those, these have not been made beneficial either, and they are not related to our Jannah or our Jahannam, our outcome in the hereafter. But there is a whole system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that pertains to these background happenings. This is called the system of Takween. Takween, from kun fayakoon. Allah says happen, it does happen. Be, and it comes to be. So from this kun, we understand that there is this system of Takween. The system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where there is this command, this happens. It has no relationship to beneficial or harmful outcome in the hereafter. Therefore, common people are not even given the knowledge of this. Anbiya, who are the most concerned about the benefit of humanity, they are also given the knowledge of Shariat, not Takween. Not Takween, generally. Hazrat Musa ala Nabi salatu wassalam in his time was a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Bani Israel, and he had the knowledge of Shariat. He had the knowledge of Shariat, what will make Allah happy, what will displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the more important, the most important, the only important branch of knowledge. But there is, like I said, there is a system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and there is a knowledge of Takween. Hazrat Khizar alayhi salam, he was that person who was given the knowledge of this world of Takween by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he was also given some responsibilities in that regard. That is why nobody is an ummati of Hazrat Khizar alayhi salam. Why? Because his specialty is not the knowledge of Sharia. So the background of this is that somebody asked Hazrat Musa ala nabiyina salatu wassalam, it is written in books of tafsir, that who is the most knowledgeable person? And Hazrat Musa alayhi salam responded in accordance with what his knowledge was, that the ulum of Sharia, I am the most knowledgeable person because I am the Nabi of the present time. But because he gave a blanket answer that I am the most knowledgeable, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that there is someone else who has a different kind of knowledge, whose knowledge is outside of what your knowledge is. Hazrat Musa alayhi expressed this eagerness, this desire that I want to meet this person. I want to meet this person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged their meeting, and this is the story of their meeting and what Hazrat Musa alayhi got to experience. Why has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in the Quran? For us to understand that number one, no matter how knowledgeable someone might be, there is someone else more knowledgeable. فَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that upon everybody who is knowledgeable, there is someone who is even more knowledgeable. Secondly, there is a system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which works in background, and we do not have control over it, and we should leave that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to do things, He does it. It has no concern with us. But there is a system. We should know about this. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it here. And because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it, we talk about it, and we read about it, and we learn that there is a system existing. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ. When Musa ﷺ said to his young man, this is a respectable way of addressing a servant or a slave. So this person was serving Hazrat Musa ﷺ. He was a young man. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling him Lifatah. Fatah means a young person. لا أبرح حتى أبلغ مجمع البحرين أو أمضي حقوبا. He said to him, I shall not give up until I reach the meeting point of the two seas, or else I shall go on traveling for years. He was so eager to meet this person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told him that you will find him where the two seas meet. What are those two seas? People have mentioned their own opinions, but it's irrelevant. The exact meeting place does not even matter anymore. The point is that Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was so eager that he said that I will meet him, and if I don't meet him, I will keep on traveling basically forever until I meet him. So this is how they started. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَا مَجْمَعَ بَيْنِهِمَا. So when they reached the meeting point of the two seas, نَسِيَا حُوتَهُمَا. They forgot their fish. فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا. And it made its way into the sea as in a tunnel. So the sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told him was that take a fish with you, and that fish was not alive, dead. But where there's a confluence, that fish will make its way into the sea, and that is where you will find that person. So this is what Hazrat Musa alayhi salam told his servant, his young man, that when this happens, let me know. We are keeping this fish. If anything unique, weird happens, let me know. So this happened. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was sleeping at that time, and that fish made a kind of a tunnel formed in the sea, and that fish jumped out and came to life and went into the river. That young man saw it, but weird thing is that he forgot. He saw such a unique thing, but he still forgot. When Hazrat Musa alayhi salam woke up, they started traveling on their way. The reason why he may have forgotten is Hakim al-Ummat has written that he was day in and day out seeing the mu'jizat of Hazrat Musa alayhi. He was seeing unique things, so many of them, that he might have forgotten about it. It is okay for him to forget, because he was seeing so many things going on with Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. He was doing so many mu'jizat, so he may have forgotten. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَا قَالَ لِفَتَاهُ آتِنَا غَدَاءَنَا. When they went further, Hazrat Musa said to his young man, آتِنَا غَدَاءَنَا. Bring us our morning meal. لَقَدْ لَقِينَا مِنْ سَفَرِنَا هَذَا نَصَبًا. We have indeed had much fatigue from this journey of ours. Hazrat Musa said that today the journey has been very tiring. We have really gotten a lot of trouble, and the reason was that he had crossed the point where Allah had wanted him to stop. He had gone further, and then that day he had particular trouble in that traveling. So he said that today we have gone through much trouble, much fatigue. قَالَ. The young man said, أَرَأَيْتَ إِذْ أَوَيْنَا إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتَ وَمَا أَنْسَانِهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ أَذْكُرَهُ. He said, you see, when we stayed at the rock, that rock against which Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was resting and he slept, there was a rock at that point. He said that when we stayed at the rock, I forgot the fish. وَمَا أَنْسَانِهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ أَذْكُرَهُ, and it was none but shaitan who made me forget it to tell you about it. وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا, and it made its way into the sea in a very amazing manner. So he told Hazrat Musa alayhi salam that how he saw the fish jump into the water and find its way. قَالَ, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam said, ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِ, that was what we were looking for. فَارْتَدَّا عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمَا, so they retraced in their footsteps. فَارْتَدَّا عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمَا قَصَصًا, they went back retracing their footsteps. فَوَجَدَا, when they reached that point, فَوَجَدَا عَبْدًا مِّنْ عِبَادِنَا, they found one of our servants, a slave from among our servants. So again, Hazrat Khizar alayhi salam, he was not somebody who was not a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or had any godly qualities. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very clearly and forcefully saying that he was abdam min ibadina, one slave among many of ours. Atainahu rahmatan min indina, Allah had blessed him with mercy from us, which was that knowledge of the hidden world. Wa allamnahu min ladunna ilma, and that blessing, that mercy, out of that we had given him knowledge, a knowledge from our own ilm ladunni, which is that knowledge that comes directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that was through wahi to Hazrat Khizar alayhi salam, and he was because of this ulama have said that he was a nabi most likely. Qala, he said, Musa alayhi salam said, lahu, to him, qala lahu Musa, hal attabi'uka ala an tu'allimani mimma 'ullimta rushda, may I have your company so that you teach me some of the rightful knowledge that you have been given. Now there's a few things to learn here. Musa alayhi salam is trying to learn from him. The way that he's assuming is that I'll get into your company and I will also travel with you. So please let me in your company. Qala, he said, Khizar said, innaka lan tastati'a ma'iya sabra. You can never bear with me patiently. The kind of things that I do, because you do not have knowledge of those things, what I'll do, you will judge it based on the knowledge that you have, and you will not be able to tolerate it. وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ, and how will you be able to be patient over it or tolerate it? عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِيطْ بِهِ خُبْرًا, about which that you have, your comprehension cannot grasp. Something that you have not been given the knowledge of, your comprehension has not been given the grasp of that kind of knowledge. قَالَ, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam said, سَتَجِدُنِي إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ صَابِرًا, you will find me sabir, patient. So therefore, getting knowledge involves some patience. You cannot attain knowledge without some patience. You have to bear with somebody. You have to live with somebody. You have to tolerate their things. وَلَا أَعْصِي لَكَ أَمْرًا, and the thing that Hazrat Musa alayhi salam promised was, وَلَا أَعْصِي لَكَ أَمْرًا, you will not find me going against or doing any disobedience to any orders from you. The Nabi of the time, who was saying that I am the most knowledgeable person, because he wants to learn from this person, is saying that I will be sabir, I will be patient over whatever you put me into, and you will find me not disobeying your commands. This is the way to learn. This is the way to get knowledge. Stay in the company, travel with them if possible, bear with them. Whatever they do to you, accept it, take it nicely, take it, in a good manner, and do not disobey your teacher. So this is what he said. This is up to this point, this is the explanation of how they met. Then what happened in the future, that when they would travel together, we'll inshallah read about it tomorrow. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذين لهم خاصتك أهلك وخاصتك وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلق سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.